Hello everybody, it is Tom, and welcome to another video.
Whenever you're around, whenever we get down, 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 down.
So, the reason for this video is that I have decided to give myself the week off from doing a Season 2 episode reaction, just because, mental health reasons, exhaustion reasons, things like that, because, recording a 2-hour video and editing it takes a really, 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 really long time. So this week, I'm just giving myself permission to not do that. But I did still want to give you guys some kind of video. So today's video is going to be my favorite Nick and Charlie moments from Season 2. Now, there are some moments that I am not going to include in here because I'm also planning at some point to do a Charlie video and a Nick video. So, scenes that do have the two of them together, but where one of them is just being amazing, specifically one of them, those will probably go into that video. When attempting to compile my list of favorite Nick and Charlie moments, I'm tempted to just say, all of them, roll credits. Because, every single Nick and Charlie moment is my favorite Nick and Charlie moment. Let's be real. But here are some of the ones that are just a little bit above the other ones. Just top tier, hit me right here. I don't know where here is. I guess in my chestal area. Hit me right here. So these are some of my top moments. But please let me know what your top Nick and Charlie moments are in the comments, if you like. You don't have to, but you can. Okay, so the first of my favorite Nick and Charlie moments comes to us from episode 1. So in episode 1, we have a lot of great Nick and Charlie moments. We have the montage of them just kissing and kissing and kissing forever. We have Charlie giving Nick a candy bar in the locker room as a 2-month anniversary present. There's lots of good stuff, but one of my favorite moments is at the party scene, the sleepover. So when they're having a sleepover at Charlie's house, the whole gang is there. We have Tao and Elle over on one side, Tara and Darcy on the other, Isaac in the middle with his book, and then Nick and Charlie are sitting on the couch. They're finally in a setting where everyone around them knows that they're together, so they don't have to hide. But they are not used to showing physical affection to one another in front of other people. So you have this kind of playful flirting, them easing their way into being affectionate toward one another. Of course, we have a huge contrast to this in episode 8 when they're at the post-prom party and just kissing and dancing and doing everything just in front of people. But regardless, so in this scene, the music is great and the mood of the room is great. Just everyone is having a good time, and Nick and Charlie are just totally wrapped up in each other, exchanging glances and just these little tiny touches between one another. So we have their knees bump, their shoulders brush, their fingers touch, and they kind of intertwine their fingers, and just the way that they keep looking at each other and feeling the sparks. It's just a really, really beautiful moment. Very important moment for both of them. Freaking adorable. Love it. The next top Nick and Charlie moment for me is episode 2, the park scene. So words cannot describe how much I love this scene. I could watch this scene all day on a loop and not get tired of it. There's just so much beautiful stuff going on in this scene. So first of all, the rest of this episode is kind of rocky. We have a lot of stressful things going on with Charlie getting banned from seeing Nick, and Nick struggling with his GCSEs, and Charlie struggling with getting his coursework done, and the stuff with David. So there's just a lot of stuff going on before this and after this. But this scene is just a beautiful oasis of calm and love amidst all the chaos. We start out with Charlie's waiting in the park. Nick comes up to him and it's like, Charlie. And then, like, the way that Charlie throws himself into Nick's arms and Nick spins him around with one arm, and just the way that they cling to each other. And then we have beautiful moments of them together in the park, like touching fingers, and Nick giving his hoodie to Charlie. Charlie playing with Nellie, Nick taking adorable pictures. But then, like, one of the most memorable parts of this scene, for Charlie as well, I'm sure, is the fact that, you know, we have the direct callback to last season, episode 5, when they're in the same spot on a picnic blanket by this same fallen tree and about to kiss, but someone walks by and Nick gets freaked out and can't do it. Compare that to this, where, like, they're in the same park, in the same place, it's public, it's daytime, there are probably people walking by, walking their dogs, and Nick just has no hesitation. Like, he is fully comfortable with not only kissing Charlie, but, like, full on making out with him in this situation. So it's so lovely. And then, of course, Nick posting the picture of Charlie and Nellie with the caption, I think Nellie loves him, and just, like, Charlie and the rainbows. And there's so much just gentle joy in this scene. And given what comes before and after, we needed it, and so did they. So the next scene I'm going to talk about, I'm not sure if it belongs in my top tier favorite scenes list, but it definitely gets an honorable mention. And that is the scene where Nick and Charlie at the restaurant in Paris go to check on Imogen in the bathroom. So Imogen has just told off Ben in front of everyone, and broken up with him and been a badass, and then she's upset and she goes off to the bathroom. So the thing that I love about this scene is how much of a single unit Nick and Charlie are here. Like, it starts when they're at the table after Imogen has left, and Charlie looks at Nick. Nick, like, inclines his head slightly. Both of them immediately understand, like, yeah, okay, let's go check on her together. They go, they're like parents in this scene, or like your beloved uncles or something. They communicate without words so often in this scene, just with little gestures or motions or an exchange of glances, and you can really see how well they know each other at this point, which is really beautiful. And just the way that they handle the scene with Imogen, of kind of like tag teaming off what they're saying and being supportive and, you know, helping her to feel better, and then the hug at the end with all three of them. I've heard some people say that this is like Nick and Charlie with their daughter kind of situation, and I can definitely see that.
Could I maybe have a hug?
So the next scene I'm going to talk about is from episode 6. And this is when Nick and Charlie are at Tara's birthday party, and they end up sneaking off alone onto the balcony, and they have this not very long but very nice conversation about how they're always sneaking away from parties to be together.
We keep escaping parties to hang out with each other. Are we going to do it every time? I hope so.
The way that Nick looks at Charlie in this scene is like, I mean, you can always tell when Nick looks at Charlie how in love with him he is, but like this scene, it is so like just the emotion, the love that is passing between them, and I love the quiet moments between these two, and we get quite a few of these during the Paris trip, like them falling asleep holding hands, or, you know, in episode 5, when they're in the room alone together after Isaac and Tao go off to the vending machine, and Charlie, like, slides his fingers through Nick's hair, and Nick wraps his arms around him, and they just have a quiet moment together.
Hi.
Or, of course, the famous recharging scene where Nick puts his arms around Charlie and, like, rests his head against the back of Charlie's neck, and it's just like... And, of course, also, after Tara's party, when we see them talking quietly together and snuggling and falling asleep, and just the different positions that they end up in during the night, Just so lovely, all of these quiet scenes between them. So the last scene I'm going to talk about in this video is, again, a very short scene, but one that really affected me. So this is in episode 5. We're jumping around. Episode 5, where, first of all, Nick and Charlie have just had a conversation about Nick's dad, and Charlie has realized that while Charlie has been holding this stress inside himself and, you know, the issues with his eating disorder and all of that, Nick has also been keeping things to himself regarding how stressed he's been about his dad and trying to meet up with him and everything like that. So they have a really lovely scene of connecting there and being like, you know, we're going to tell each other things. When something's bothering us, we're going to share it.
How about we promise to tell each other when we've got stuff going on?
And they have a lovely hug. And then Nick tells Charlie that he's supposed to meet his dad in a cafe in 20 minutes. And Charlie just holds out his hand, and Nick takes it, and they're both smiling, and they run off into Paris together. This scene of, like, the music and them running, them hurrying to get the train. There's no dialogue here, but the feeling of kind of joy and freedom, and especially hope in this scene, is lovely. And the fact that they're holding hands the whole time. When they're on the train, they're holding hands, and then, you know, as the train pulls away, you see, just for a second, the billboard or poster or something drawn by Alice that says, what is it, s'envoler, that I believe means fly away or something like that. It's such a small moment, but it's very beautiful and has just, I think, encapsulates the feeling of Nick and Charlie's relationship at this point in the show. So, yeah. Alright, so not mentioned here is the final scene in episode 8, which I think is the ultimate Nick and Charlie scene, and I am going to be, like, dissecting that scene like you would not believe in my review of episode 8, but we're not there yet. And also, this is supposed to be a list of, like, my favorite scenes that bring me joy. And that scene is absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking. It does not bring me joy. So, I mean, it does in kind of a way, like, in a, like, recognizing how artfully it's done and how ridiculously beautifully it is acted. Yes. But, yeah, from just a pure joy point of view, not so much. So, but yeah, and as I said, like, this is not an exhaustive list of my favorite Nick and Charlie moments, because anytime they are on screen together is my favorite Nick and Charlie moment. But these are some of the highlights for me from this season. So, what about you? Tell me about your favorite Nick and Charlie moments in the comments. What do you love? What is on your list? Darla has some opinions as well. What is your thought, Darla? There you have it. Alright, so that is it for this video. I just wanted a nice little video that potentially will not take me 1,000 years to edit, but we'll see. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love to hear from you. I love to read your comments. I read every single one. And, yeah. Okay, well, thanks as always to our patrons, who are absolutely amazing and wonderful and fantastic and superb and magnifique and all that. And a special shout out to our Nick Nelson members, Kelly Walker, Paul Z, and Kent Smither. Alright, I will see you folks next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And that's it. Okay, yes. Alright, bye.
Say you're coming around.